Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 4th of September and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, in this video we are going to discuss entire analysis of Hindu newspaper. We'll take all articles along with the background as well as way forward. And guys, I hope that the video as well as audio is clear. You can download explainer notes of this particular session from our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in description box in YouTube. Now, first of all, let's see overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are actually important in the today's news. So here we have Delhi edition of Hindu, and here on first page we have the political articles. Khadge calls meeting of floor leaders of India ahead of Parliament session. Okay, fiscally imprudent policies, populism affect the poor. So here there is one interview of Prime Minister. We will see it in detail. Then further moving on, we have these traffic advisory and all such kind of a thing. Civic agencies, police to go through G20 checklist again, these tenders, advertisements, etc. They have been given there. Then guys, further moving on, we have just regional political issues, law and order related issues, political issues, etc. Nothing much important for exam has been given, just these advertisements, etc. are there. Then coming to editorial page, here this article, opposition to the BJP alone is not enough from a national alternative. Not important article, political article, nothing much important for exam has been given here, so please avoid it. Then court's order and the ASI survey are flawed. So basically guys, recently what has happened, so basically, now the article is talking about the court surveys with respect to the Ayodhya and all such kind of a things. Okay, ASI is a survey. Okay. Now I have read this entire article. Article doesn't contains much of a substance with respect to the examination. So no need to go too much in detail in this particular article. Then further, moving on, the rise and fall of a Russian warlord. Okay, so guys, the article is talking about recent incident where basically recently we have seen that the Wagner group, they revolted against the Russia. Then we have seen this particular thing that after that recently an aircraft also crashed which was containing which had Mr. Uh, Yevgeny Prigozhin, who was the chief of Wagner group. Okay, and all those particular details, that what was his relation with the Russian president and all such things have been given. Article again doesn't contains much of a substance. Okay, I nothing much important is there in the article. Then guys, further moving on, going to the next opinion page, measuring hunger. Okay, measuring hunger across states. So the article is talking about the state of hunger. We'll take this particular article for the exam point of view. Then further, the BJP is a dilemma in Bihar. Nothing important for exam is given here. Then coming to text and context page, the status of right to information. Now article is talking about criticism of RTI and all such kind of things. We'll take it. The article contains some really good substance for exam. So we will take this particular article. Then further, what is the debate around one nation, one election? We'll take this particular article also for examination. Then moving on, how streaming companies are using Hollywood writers strike. So basically, in US, we see this thing that Hollywood, basically writers, they set on a strike and they want to negotiate with the producers and top executives of Netflix, Disney, Universal, etc. to negotiate the payments, and at the same time they are paying much more money for web developers, for algorithm engineers and all such kind of things. Okay, moving on, guys, in this particular direction. Campaigning ends for by-election in 7 assembly constituencies. Okay, nothing much important for exam has been given here. Okay, so we will just directly be skipping. Okay, one nation, one poll. We'll take this particular on this particular direction already. There is this article that is there. What is debate around one nation, one poll? We'll take this particular thing. Okay. Then guys, further moving on. Okay, so there is a doubt, volume is low. Please check, let me check it from my end, and let me see that if volume is too low. Just give me 1 minute and let me check that. Okay guys, as I am also checking it here in my phone only, so voice is Coming fine. Please check from your end. Please check from your end. And guys, others, please tell me if voice is too slow or is it fine. Please comment so that we can move ahead. Okay. So moving on in this particular direction, further these political statements etc. has been given. Here we have one article, GDP centric view changing to human centric view. So this is an introduction, this is an interview. We'll take this particular article for exam point of view. Then we have again these tenders etc. that are coming. Aditya L1 healthy in new orbit. We'll take this particular article also. There is an editorial section, one article that has been given. We'll take this particular thing. Then further centers Diksha e-education platform to offer AI help. We'll take this particular article for exam point of view. Then on world page, ahead of talks on grain deal, Russia attacks Ukraine port, nothing important in examination for examination. G20 meet, visit by Lavrov, Macron. Okay. Then moving on, today we don't have business page. It is money wise page. The Indian investors brush with the impossible trinity. Nothing much important has been given. And then we have the sports page. This is about the overview, and now let's take all relevant articles one by one in detail. Okay, so guys, in every class we start with the GS quotation, and the idea of quotation is to give you some substance that you can use to complement in examination. Okay, so here today we are going to take quotation from Nehla Walji. Okay, so Nehla Walji says that our formal economy is only possible because it is subsidized by women's unpaid work. So when we talk about women's domestic work, it is unpaid, for which they now women's domestic work is unpaid, and because they are contributing in domestic unpaid work, men are able to support in formal economy. So the formal economy is actually supported by women's unpaid work, but for that they are never appreciated. For that their recognition is not there. In fact, under the ILO's definition of work, it was not seen as a work. Now though it is seen as a work, but it is now needed that we need to give more importance to women's unpaid care work that they are doing. Okay, so this particular thing you can use with respect to the GS paper number 2, social issues and social justice, social issues and social justice, issues related to women. Okay, there you can see this particular article. Okay, then moving on guys in this particular direction. Okay, moving on in this particular direction. Status of the Right to Information Act. Now this particular article is talking about RTI, and recently there have been some changes that have been made to RTI. So with that particular thing, is RTI Act getting diluted or not? We'll take this particular article for examination. So first of all, where we talk about where we are going to use this particular article, we will use this particular article for GS paper number 2. For GS paper number 2, governance. Within governance, Right to Information Act is there, where we can use this particular article. Information and transparency, there we can use this particular article. Even this particular article can be used in GS paper number 4, ethics, because in GS4 ethics also, there is a topic of topic number 7, information sharing is mentioned. So there we'll take the RTI's article. Now first of all, what has happened recently, there are multiple reports, where they are indicating that government is diluting RTI. So we will see those particular developments particularly, which might have impacted the RTI's spirit. Now first of all, when we talk about RTI, Right to Information Act, this particular act was conceived in 2005. So struggle for RTI started way back in 1980s, but RTI as an act came in 2005, which allowed people that they can ask information from any public authority. So from public authority you can access information, and getting information is a matter of your right. Information cannot be denied. Now when we talk about RTI, RTI was one of the most comprehensive public record access law in world. There was large range of public bodies from which the information can be retrieved, and it has been appreciated even at international level. Now, one first change that has come in RTI, first change that has come in RTI with respect to sharing of personal information. Now, when we talk about the original RTI, so original RTI provided that the personal data, personal information cannot be asked until and unless there is an overriding public interest. Means you cannot ask personal information, private information of any government functionary, of any civil servant, but if it will serve the bigger public interest, then even the private information can be given. So this was the original wording of the act, that is 2005 RTI Act. But after this recent Digital Personal Data Protection Act got passed, it provided that no private information, no personal information can be given. In any case, it cannot be given. So a blanket ban on sharing of personal information has been imposed here. Earlier, only earlier it could be asked if it serves the bigger public interest. Now, how it is going to impact? So basically, according to the National Campaign for People's Right to Information, they say this particular thing, that earlier there was a many ways where personal information was to be needed. For example, what government is doing? Government is distributing free grains to the poor people, or government is giving benefit to many of poor people, many schemes. For example, under MG Narega, poor people are getting benefit. Now there comes the provision of social audit. There comes the provision of social audit. Now what is this social audit program? For example, let's say government said that food grains have been given to 1000 beneficiaries. Government said food grain have been given to 1000 beneficiaries. So what can be done? Some of the food activists, they can come out and they can ask the list of ration beneficiaries, that okay, you give me a list who have actually got ration. So government has to give this 1000 people's list. Obviously here these people's addresses, their name, all will be given. So personal information is being given. Then these activists, what they can do? They can individually verify that whether these people actually got that ration or not. And if in case there is any discrepancy, that discrepancy could be flagged. So for social auditing, this particular information could be used. So this is the way that the information was earlier was being used now, but now it cannot happen because a blanket ban has been imposed. The next issue that comes here in this particular direction is that basically, guys, what has happened in past, government has brought amendment to RTI, and through these RTI, now these amendments were brought in 2009, and through these amendments, what has happened? Now union government, center government has got unilateral power that they will decide that how long information commissioner okay, basically they are now getting power uh, with respect to deciding the tenure of information commissioners. Fine, what their salaries will be, what their tenure is. So now all these particular things will be decided by them. Earlier the provision was simple. For example, at center, chief information commissioner's tenure was equal to chief election commissioner's tenure. Information commissioner's tenure was equal to election commission's tenure, and their salary were also same. Now what happened? Government will decide their tenure, government will decide their salary, and by that particular thing, there is actually a criticism that is coming out that now what can happen? Anyone who is doing too much activism in RTI, okay, then government can cut down the tenure. So this is something that has happened in this particular direction. After that, the third problem that has come here is that basically appointment processes of information commissioners have become very slow, and in that particular capacity we see this particular thing, that there are these information commissioners, they are not running at their full capacity. And particularly if we talk about the Jharkhand State Information Commission, Jharkhand State Information Commission had no commissioners to hear RTI appeal since 2020. Now it is more than 3 years that there is not even a single member in Information Commission of Jharkhand, and this similar condition is there in all in many of information commissions. Then after that, now fourth issue that is coming under RTI is with respect to the government's RTI portal. Government's RTI portal. Now, let's understand this particular issue first of all. So basically, guys, when we talk about RTI portal, so there was this RTI online portal that was launched in 2013, and through this RTI online portal, citizens through internet can raise their RTI request and can receive information, can pay money also through UPI, because when you are accessing information under RTI under specific categories, you have to pay in money. So through UPI, money can be paid, information can be attained through this RTI portal. Now there are two changes that have come in this RTI online portal. Number one, basically earlier what happened, there was a facility where you can create an account on RTI portal and all your name, personal information, address will be pre-saved there. Okay, you don't need to type that particular thing every other time. But now this particular facility has disappeared from that platform. Now, you will say that it is not a very big problem, because at the end of the day, you need to make an RTI, you can type your information again. But when we talk about information, it is not only availability of information, but it is also ease of information, how easily information can be attained. That is also very important in e-governance. Fine. So that particular issue has again come here. And the next problem that comes here is that basically recently there were articles also in Hindu newspaper that we have seen that the information that has been asked before 2022, it started to disappear without any explanation. Now government has started restoring it back. So the information, it started to disappear from RTI portal. So these are all issues that have they been there in RTI Act, because of which RTI Act has become little bit ineffective. That is all about it. Now moving on to next article. What is the debate around one nation, one election? So basically what has happened, we have seen it also in the Saturday's newspaper, that recently central government, they have announced that they will constitute a panel under former President of India, Mr. Ramnath Kovind, and this particular panel is going to study that whether one nation, one election in India can be conducted or not. Now, first of all, let's understand that what is one nation, one election. So one nation, one election means that simultaneously along with parliament, state assembly elections will also be conducted. Right now we see this particular thing that parliamentary elections are held at a separate times, assembly elections are held at a separate time. There is no coherence in that particular thing. Now, when we talk about, guys, elections, every year one or the other state is at election, and India is always at election mode. And when the election is going on, model code of conduct will be applied, developmental works cannot go there, then national level leaders including prime minister are always busy in a particular election, and because there are election in any or the other state, the government is also always in an election. Fine. So to solve all these particular things, the idea of one nation one election comes, that at one time state assembly elections and Lok Sabha elections need to be held. Now when we talk about these one nation one election, it was introduced during 1951-52 first elections of India. At that point of a time, election of union and state held at the same time. But this particular cycle got broken in 1960s. For example, what happened? In 1959, for the first time, a president rule was imposed. Kerala government got dismissed. So Kerala government will fall out of line from all other states and union that is going on. After that, we have seen that in 1960, due to defection, counter defection, there were many state governments that also fell. Okay, so because of that particular thing, we have seen that what happened by the time 1970s came, state elections have got dissolved. Okay, fine. And because of that particular thing, synchronization between union and state, it got disturbed, and now the present situation is going on. As of now, only there are few states which have their elections with Lok Sabha. For example, Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha. These are states whose elections are held with Lok Sabha. These are states whose elections are held with Lok Sabha. Apart from that, other states are holding elections at different times. Now, in 2018, In 2018, what has happened? Law Commission of India has studied the feasibility of simultaneous elections, and it has also studied legal aspects, legal issues around simultaneous elections. And after studying that, what has happened? Law Commission of India provided that simultaneous elections are not feasible. According to Law Commission of India, it provides that when we read provisions of Constitution, Representation of People Act, rules of procedure of Lok Sabha, rules of procedure of State Assembly. First of all, understand this particular thing. You need to change a lot of provisions with respect to Constitution. Lot of changes are needed to be brought. For example, we decide that in 2024, for example, we decide that in 2024, state elections, simultaneous elections will be conducted. All states and union elections will be conducted. Now, there will be two possibilities in that. Number one, you have to you have to cut down you have to cut down tenure of certain assemblies. For example, election of Bihar, let's say, happened in 2020. Now their elections are due in 2025. If you want to conduct simultaneous election in 2024, you need to cut down the tenure of Bihar assembly by 1 year. Okay. Then there are certain states which are about to go to elections in 2023. So basically their tenure has to be extended by 1 year, that is by 2024. So how that particular thing will be done? A lot of legislative and constitutional changes have to be brought for respect to the one nation, one election. And also it recommended that apart from changing constitution, ratification from 50% of the state government will also be needed. This is about it. Now, when we talk about one nation, one election, it will have many of the advantages. For example, it will lead to the saving of public money. It will reduce the strain on administrative setup. Now, teachers and many of other civil servants, government employees, they are given election duty every year. Now, you need not to mobilize them every after in every you need not to mobilize them too much. If there will be one election, then there will be less strain on government machinery, security forces. Timely implementation of government policies will be there. Model code of conduct will not be applied every then and now, and by that particular thing also what will happen, developmental work would also not be stopped. Then we can also give focus on developmental activities more rather than influencing people, electioneering and all such kind of things. But there are some challenges also that are coming in this particular direction. There are some challenges also that are coming in this particular direction. Now, what are the challenges? First challenge that comes here is that according to Article 83 and Article 172, tenure of Lok Sabha and State Assembly is 5 years. Is 5 years unless dissolved earlier. Okay, unless dissolved earlier. Also under Article 356, assemblies can be dissolved earlier. Now, it means that assemblies can be dissolved earlier. If government falls in a particular state, assembly can be dissolved. Now, what is the problem that is coming? Suppose in 2024, let's say, we started conducting the simultaneous election. But what if 26, let's say 26, one particular state government falls? What if in 26, one particular state government falls? Will this election be held at that time or not? If elections are held at that particular time, then this particular government will fall out of synchronization. Okay, or if you will not conduct elections and you will wait for 2028, then how that particular arrangement will be done, how the government will be carried in that particular situation, it is also an issue that is coming. Okay, so how this particular issue will be resolved, this is going to be a very big challenge. Then next issue that comes here is that it doesn't comes in line with the idea of federalism. Now in federalism, and basically in federalism what is happened, different states and union, they have their own distinct standing. Now India is not a union. India is envisaged as a union of state. But we follow federalism. And in that particular line, different states can have elections at different times. There is not a concern because of that particular. Okay. After that, it is said that recurrent elections are actually also seen as beneficial for voters, because when there will be recurrent elections, government will again and again will reach to voters, will take in account their grievances, fine, will be reaching to them, will be coming out with the developmental schemes which actually be beneficial for them. Okay, so this is something that has come here in this particular direction. So what is simultaneous election? Okay, what are pros, what are cons, all these particular things are there. And one more thing I want to tell you, if a question comes for this particular thing in your exam, you will not have a capacity to utilize content more than this, because either it will be 150 words question or 250 words question. So this particular one page write up will suffice all type of questions that will come on this particular line. Now moving on to next article. Centers Diksha e-education platform to offer AI help. Okay, so this is a very important article. Very important article. We'll see it for the GS paper number 2, issues related to education within the social justice. We'll take this particular article. So basically, guys, there is one development that is going to happen. But before that particular development, you need to understand two of the government existing, two of the government's programs. Now, let's understand this particular thing. So basically, one is Ministry of Electronics and Information Technologies personalized adaptive learning. Personalized adaptive learning. So this PAL, it is a program by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Within the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, there is National E-Governance Division. National E-Governance Division. So that has developed this PAL, which stands for Personalized Adaptive Learning. Fine, this is one. When we talk about this PAL, what this PAL is, it is a software based approach. Okay, it is a software based approach which has also integrated AI for effective learning in students. So what it can do, basically it can observe a student's learning curve, it can observe a student's cognitive abilities, it can also see that what type of mistakes a student makes, and by that particular thing this PAL can redevelop, can redesign curriculum for a student. So it is a software based approach which is expected to allow each student to have an individualized learning experience over the course of curriculum. Okay, so sorry, I used it can redesign curriculum. No, curriculum will not be redesigned. On the basis of that particular student's learning ability, he can be given individual, specific, tailor-made, customized learning experience. Okay, this is PAL. Now, after that, there is one more initiative, that is Diksha, Digital Infrastructure and Knowledge Sharing. Now, what is Diksha? Diksha program comes under Education Ministry, and Diksha, it is e-content library. It is e-content library. It contains NCERT textbook. Also, it has more than 2.43 lakh of tutorials which are in the form of teaching videos, explainers, practice question. So Diksha is a portal, or it is online library containing NCERT textbooks as well as other explainer videos, tutorials, practice question, etc. Now what will be done? This Diksha and PAL will be merged together. Diksha, fine, that is Digital Infrastructure for Knowledge Sharing, Diksha and PAL. These two initiatives are being integrated together. Now how this particular thing is going to work? How this particular thing is going to work? Now Diksha, it is e-content library. For example, there is a student of class 9 who is learning Pythagoras theorem. Student of class 9 is learning Pythagoras theorem. Now, where the videos, text, PDF, etc. are there, they are on Diksha platform. So obviously, when he is learning Pythagoras theorem, he is learning through the help of a content that is there on Diksha. But at the same time, PAL also is observing this particular student. And while learning it, suppose a practice question is given. Okay, I told you that in the Diksha, practice question are also there. So a student learned Pythagoras theorem, basic theory. Then question is given to that student. Let's say it is a question which is a multiple choice question. He correct answer was, let's say, option A. He marked option C. So he had made a mistake. Now this PAL, which is based on AI learning system, it will find the loop that okay, student has made a mistake, and then he can direct this that particular student could be directed to a basic video which shows how to make calculation or wherever mistake was there. that particular type of a specific video could be directed through this call. So this is a way as how both of them will are going to work. Recently also we have seen this particular thing, that many state governments are also are trying to integrate AI, are also trying to come out with the new tech solutions for student learning. In this capacity, recently Andhra Pradesh, for example, has also signed an agreement with Geos, Imbibe startup, Fine, Convegenius, and MindSpark. Fine, and for this, what agreement they have signed? As per the agreement that has been signed by Andhra Pradesh, these three startups will train their teachers to use IT applications in classroom, how to use IT application, how to how to find analytics, okay, for remedial learning. Fine, suppose there are 30 students. Out of 30 students, 15 students are performing good, 15 students are not performing good. So that for on those 15 students who are not doing good, remedial training is to be given to them. Better attention, better focus is to be given to them. So how that particular thing they will know, they will learn, they will know that particular analytics, how to read analytics, how to decode analytics, how to use IT applications. All that training will be given to teachers by these platforms. So for that, Andhra Pradesh has signed an agreement. So this is all about this particular. I hope you have understood it. And now moving to next article. Onward Sun World. Okay, so guys, now I also I have discussed this particular article with you at least 6 or 7 times within the span of last 15 days. Every other day we have seen this particular article talking about the Aditya L1 Sun mission that has recently been launched. On Saturday also I have discussed, Friday also I have discussed. So again, the same article has come with respect to the Aditya L1 mission. Now, when we talk about Aditya L1 is a mission to study sun. At Aditya L1 is the mission to study sun, and it will be placed in Lagrange point L1. So therefore, it is called as Aditya L1. Now, article is talking about this particular thing, that we have launched a mission to study sun, and it shows how ISRO has become a pretty advanced and competent space organization in entire world. Number one, successfully we landed Vikram on moon, and then Pragya rover rolled out of it and had carried successful studies. It shows that, moreover, when we talk about uh, Chandrayaan 3, Chandrayaan 3 landed on the landed on the South Pole region of moon, and India has become the first country which has landed on the polar region of moon. So this also shows that how ISRO is state of art and a pretty advanced space organization in world. Moreover, when we talk about Chandrayaan 3, you need to understand this particular thing also, that already rover Pragyan has completed its study well before scheduled time that was. So this particular thing also provides that how far ISRO has reached. And with Aditya L1 also, we are going to discuss a lot of hidden secrets of sun. First of all, Aditya L1, it contains 7 instruments, 7 payloads, which will be studying many of sun's components. For example, it will study corona, it will study photosphere, chromosphere, solar winds, and all such kind of things. Now, when we talk about the sun holds many secrets, and we might be able to know them after this Aditya L1 mission. Now, what are the mysteries of sun? Number one is that constantly sun is streaming out a stream of charged particles in space, and these charged particles, they can impact functioning of many of instruments, devices, on satellites, on probes, on observatories that are launched in space. Okay, if we understand the nature of these charged particles properly, we can protect our devices on satellites, we can protect payloads on future missions more effectively. Then, coronal heating problem is there. What is coronal heating problem? Now, when we talk about corona, this is sun. The outermost, now corona, suppose this is sun. Now, this is sun. This particular blue which I am making, let's say this is sun's surface, and beyond sun, this particular region is corona, where flare or aura of sun is spread. Now, when we talk about this corona has more temperature than Fine. So sun's atmosphere is 1,000 times more hotter than sun's surface. So sun's atmosphere is 1,000 times more hot than sun's surface. Why? It looks paradoxical. So we might know about it more. Then after that particular thing, after that particular thing, okay, this is something that can be done. Fine. We'll also be able to understand the nature of these charged particles that are being released. Moreover, as Aditya L1 has now been launched, within next 4 months, it will reach L1 Lagrange point 1, where it will start observation of sun. And then we will also be able to come out with a lot of information. Now, as this particular mission has been launched, as this particular mission has been launched, Aditya L1 has to transmit, has to downlink a lot of information that is receiving to Earth. Now it is operating 1.5 kilometers away from Earth, and from 1.5 kilometers away, in real time, it is transmitting data to Earth and it is receiving inputs from Earth. It also shows the competence of ISRO. So that is about it. That is about it. Now moving to next article. Measuring hunger across states. Now, this particular article is talking about state hunger index, and this article we are going to see with respect to the GS paper number 1 as well as GS paper number 2, GS paper number 1 as well as GS paper number 2, social justice and issues related to hunger. Social justice and issues related to hunger. Now, basically, guys, when we talk about India, okay, so India, we see this particular thing that we are growing record quantities of food grain, but at same time food insecurity and hunger is a big problem in India. And for this particular thing, if we take data, then according to Global Hunger Index 2022, India's rank was 107 out of 121 countries, which is a not a very good rank. We are behind Nigeria 103 and Pakistan 99 hunger. When we talk about Global Hunger Index, it caters on 3 dimensions. It studies calorie undernourishment, child malnutrition, and under 5 mortality. Okay. Now, when we talk about hunger situation, also there is a state of food security and nutrition in World Report 2022. And this state of food security and nutrition report, 224.3 million people in India are undernourished. So we find this particular thing that we are growing so much of food, but still hunger, undernourishment is a big problem in context of India. Now, on the lines of global hunger index, we also have developed state hunger index. Now, the state hunger index, what it does? State hunger index measures hunger in different states and ranks these particular states on the basis of hunger that is prevailing. Now, when we talk about state hunger index is calculated using some kind of indicators. We'll understand these indicators. First of all, when we talk about global hunger index is calculated on the basis of calorie undernourishment, stunting. Now, what is stunting? Stunting is age is to height, and wasting is to weight is to height. Okay, so it studies undernourishment, stunting, wasting, mortality in the children, mortality below the age of 5. Okay, mortality below the age of 5. Okay. This is something that it. Now, when we talk about the state hunger index, it is calculated using similar kind of indicator. For example, it uses body mass index. Okay, so same indicators except calorie undernourishment. Calorie undernourishment is not seen under state hunger index. Okay, stunting is seen, wasting is seen, mortality is seen. Calorie undernourishment is not seen under the state hunger index. Rather, in place of calorie undernourishment, it is we use body mass index. Okay. Now, when we talk about data for the state hunger index, National Family Health Survey 5 and longitudinal aging study, it provides major data for calculating state hunger index. On the basis of this particular data, state hunger index is calculated. Now, basically under state hunger index, score from 0 to 100 is given. Score below 10 signifies low hunger. Score 10 to 20 signifies moderate hunger. Score 20 to 30 serious, 30 to 40 alarming, and 50 or above extremely alarming. So a state needs to get less and less score if it has to perform better. Less score, better performance. Now, in this particular state hunger index, when we talk about the states which have not performed good, here we have Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, they have scored 35. Then Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Assam, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, they have scored 29 above the national. Okay, so these are the states which are performing good, but there is no state which fall in low hunger category. So basically, the point is that we need to focus more on reducing the hunger for children, and in that particular capacity, war efforts are needed to be taken up. Moreover, guys, it has been provided that in India, hunger is a big problem largely because of poverty. And till the time we'll not be able to reduce poverty, hunger will not be able to be reduced. And according to National Family Health Survey 5, it already provided every fifth child in India is suffering from stunting. Over the last 15 years, much improvement has been done on reducing poverty. Now, 1 minute back, I said you poverty is to be reduced. Yes, over 15 years, as per recent National Multidimensional Poverty Index, much improvement has been done, but even more than that has to be done. So this is about it. Now, moving to next article. So guys, here we have one interview with Prime Minister of India. GDP centric view changing to human centric view. So what I have done, I have compiled major excerpts from this particular interview. So first, Prime Minister has spoken about G20, and he says this particular thing, that when we talk about G20, major economies of the world, they have come together under G20. So 20 most industrialized and developed nation, they come together. Now, when we talk about G20, it was initially formed as an economic grouping, fine, but it has grew even more, and its mandate has expanded even more. Particularly after pandemic came, it further focus shifted to global cooperation, global well-being, etc. Now, when we talk about India, India has always taken a pride in human-centric approach, human-centric development. Even Vasudeva Kutumbakam of India focuses on human-centric development, and this is what India can teach to G20 in this particular year. Now, particularly when pandemic came, India's response was very clear, coordinated. Direct assistance to most vulnerable nation was given by India through its vaccine Maitri. So it again also shows India's human-centric approach. Okay, so by this particular thing, India can teach some valuable lessons to G20. Now, in this particular year's G20, some very important things have been done. For example, Global South. India has become the voice of Global South, leader of Global South, and India is pitching Global South needs to be given more inclusion. Particularly, we are talking about giving more Africa inclusion in G20, and even India has proposed making African Union a permanent member of G20. Okay. Now, Prime Minister says that because of India's leadership that India has played, third world countries are also getting a wave of confidence, Okay. Moreover, as this G20 year is going on, India will convene by the end 220 meetings, which will be held across 60 cities in 28 states. And people from all the different parts of the world, over 1 lakh participants from 125 countries will visit these G20 cities. So it shows India's diversity, India's culture. Also, earlier focus was also only New Delhi whenever any high profile meeting happened. But now we are showcasing entire length and breadth of India. Secondly, within the G20 on sustainability also, member countries, they are coming out with the biofuel alliance, where the next generation biofuels will be used for sustainable energy. This is also an important contribution that India is giving. Earlier also, through International Solar Alliance, India has talked about sustainable energies, but now biofuel alliance also India is proposing. And on the war, what is India's position as now Russia-Ukraine war is going on? So as Russia-Ukraine war is going on war, India specifically has provided this particular thing, that every war can be resolved through dialogue and diplomacy. So this is India's situation on any war that is going anywhere in. Okay. That is about it. Then moving on to main practice question. So we have this question: despite India's notable progress in alleviating extreme poverty over the last 15 years, Challenges still persist in addressing the disparity in food insecurity, hunger, and child malnutrition. Analyze. That is all, guys, about the article for today. So that is all, guys, about it. I hope that you have understood. Okay. So this will be GS paper number 2, 10 marker. So this is all. Now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Till then, please take care of yourselves. And if you have liked the video, please do hit the like button. Thank you so much.